According to the National Registry of Exonerations, to date there have been 2,240 exonerations, totaling 19,794 years lost in prison by those wrongfully convicted. Most exonerees served an average of 8.8 years in prison for a crime they did not commit. The largest percentage of wrongfully convicted persons are African Americans.
Hello, family. Thanks for joining us. My name is Nate King,
I'm Courtney Parham.
and we're with Concerned Citizens for Justice here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And Courtney's here today to share with us some details on the fight to free Unjolee, a young man who's been wrongfully convicted and sentenced to life in prison. And we're hoping that folks can make sure to be out and show up in solidarity on August 13th for the post-conviction hearing at 8 a.m., 600 Market Street in Room 301. Well, thanks for being with us today, Courtney. And if you would, please tell us a little bit about how you first got to know Mr. Moore and also how you first found out about this wrongful conviction.
Okay. Thanks again, Nate, for having me. I have known Mr. Moore for roughly about 20 years. We are childhood friends, athletic rivals. Throughout our childhood, we always competed in different sports. He wins the foot races, I win the basketball games.
Okay.
How I come about to know about the case and his wrongful conviction, shortly after his conviction, I received a letter from him pleading and basically asking for help with his case. And from there, I went ahead and said, well, hey, I need to help. Not just because he's my friend, but just because somebody has reached out to me to ask for help. So I started investigating and looking into his case and just some court documents and trial scripts, and found some issues, some very legal issues concerning and surrounding his case and conviction.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Moore has an alibi for where he was the night that they're saying he committed this crime. There's witnesses to back it up. DNA and forensic evidence and scientific evidence, there's none that links him to this crime. So how did the prosecution say that he was guilty? What evidence, if any, do they have against Mr. Moore?
Well, you're exactly right, Nate. There's no forensic evidence, no DNA, alibi. The alibi witness was not called to court. And there were other witnesses to testify on Mr. Moore's behalf who were not called as well. They were in attendance but not called to the stand for the jury to hear. What the prosecution brought in was an alleged confession tape that they alleged was Mr. Moore. And unfortunately, Mr. Moore's defense attorney did not do proper due diligence into looking into how this tape really come about, if it was Mr. Moore, not to mention the confession or alleged confession. There are some issues around how that come about in terms of some police misconduct. During the investigation, during the interrogation as well.
Okay. Well, Courtney, are wrongful convictions and exonerations something that we see in other parts of the country? Is there a pattern of circumstances that lead people to being incarcerated for crimes that they did not commit?
Most definitely.
According to the National Registry of Exonerations, the leading 5 contributing factors to a wrongful conviction are mistaken witness ID, perjury or false accusation, false confession, false or misleading forensic evidence, and official misconduct. Of these factors, 4 out of 5 of these factors have taken place in Mr. Moore's case. In cases of homicides, the top 2 factors that lead to a wrongful conviction are perjury and official misconduct. Both of these factors can be found in Mr. Moore's case. Of the 2,240 exonerations, 26 exonerations took place in the state of Tennessee. Exonerees lost a total of 230 and a half years in prison, and each exoneree served an average of about 8.9 years for a crime that they were finally found innocent of. On July 10th of this year, Mr. Moore would have been imprisoned for 8 years.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Courtney, for introducing everybody to Mr. Moore's case. And thanks to y'all for joining us. Be sure to follow Concerned Citizens for Justice on social media. Mash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel so you can keep up with this video series that we're putting out to free Unjolee. So we're building momentum to the post-conviction hearing. And once again, show up in solidarity if you can on August 13th, 8 a.m., 600 Market Street in Judge Poole's courtroom, room 301. Courtney, do you have any other closing remarks for us?
I would just like for everyone to please, again, come out, show solidarity and support for Mr. Moore and Mr. Moore's family on Monday, August 13th, 8 a.m., room 301, Judge Don Poole's Court, 600 Market Street. If you can't attend the packed courtroom, that's okay. Please feel free to share and bring awareness to this story among your family, friends, and all those on social media. Because at the end of the day, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.